Hello everybody. I'm going to make this video is going over the worksheet that I had everybody complete. Later this week there will be another video going over the next assignment, which is we're going to actually start creating some sketches for our first project. So I'm very excited about that. So I have the worksheet open with your responses and kind of the way you viewed it. Okay, so this is the way you viewed it. So I put this in here after I originally made it, so some of you weren't able to put your name, and so therefore I wasn't able to really see for the first 4 people that completed it who wrote what. That's okay. It's not a big deal. That was my mistake. So when we go to this view where there's kind of like the teacher view, if you don't see your name here, that is fine. Please do not worry. I'm going to repeat that. If you do not see your name here, that is fine. Okay, I got everyone's responses, so please don't email me asking me if you got your work, because I did. So let's just make that clear. Everyone's in good standing right now. We're all good. So going over the worksheet, let me just say how happy I am to see this. Everyone answered yes. Everyone has colored pencils. That makes me very happy because I don't really have to worry about adding color to the projects anymore, because I know we can use colored pencils because everyone has them. That makes me very happy. This is one that I really need to go over, I realized. Okay, so we have, remember, the only 2 that we have reviewed so far are analogous and complementary colors. Okay, so just by process of elimination, and I'm sure you've learned process of elimination in your other classes, split complementary should have been crossed out, and dynamic colors, that's not even a color scheme, so that should have definitely be crossed out. So that should leave us with these 2. Okay, complementary colors and analogous colors. Okay, some of you did answer these. I'm not going to, your overall grade's not going to take effect. You still get 100 for participation points, but let's go over this. Okay, so I have pulled up a color wheel. All right, now complementary colors are colors across from each other on the color wheel. So purple and yellow, green and red, blue and orange. Okay, blue and orange. This color wheel, it's a little bit easier to follow on this one right here, like yellow and purple, green and red, blue and orange, so on and so forth. Those are complementary colors, colors across from each other. The solid red lines that I had you drew on your color wheel, those are the complementary colors. All right. Now, analogous colors, those are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Okay, colors that are next to each other. So I had said in that first video, you could look at that 2 ways. You could look at it through just the primary and secondary colors, or you could also look at it as the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors to figure out how you work those analogous colors. So technically, green and this light green are analogous colors. This green right here and this yellowish green are analogous colors. Okay? Or if you go to this color wheel, this green and this yellow are complementary colors. This yellow and this orange are complementary colors because they have less colors in that color wheel. Okay, but they are next to each other. So green and yellow are analogous colors, and dark green and lighter green are also analogous colors. Therefore, if we look into our worksheet, these are all shades of green, all shades of one color, right? It's a value. So that would have to be analogous colors, colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. We don't see any purple here. We don't see any green or red, so they can't be split complementary colors. Complementary colors, so they are analogous colors. Okay, we will be going over analogous and complementary colors throughout this semester. Split complementary and dynamic colors will not come into play, so I do not want you to worry about those. But this project will deal with a lot of analogous colors, colors next to each other on the color wheel. Be prepared to answer that question again because I want to make sure you all understand that. Okay, so analogous colors are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. How is he using gradients differently than we reviewed, right? His gradient isn't really a gradient. It's all the same color, so it's more of a value, okay? So our gradients were gradients that went to one color to another. His gradients are more of a value scale, where they just go from one color into a different shade of that color, Okay, so that would have been an appropriate answer for that question. What is he doing in some of his pieces that make it more complex slash difficult? Let's look into what you wrote for this one. He makes some look 3D, correct. He's doing more dimensional shapes, correct. 3D dimensional, one in the same. Difficult shapes in each row. He has to have the perfect shade of green. Yep. Getting lighter or getting darker. Looks like he's overlapping the work and making it very unique with different colors and shades of those colors. So let's go into his work and see what we had here. All right. So some of them look a little more 3D. Some of them look a little more flat, right? These are somewhat 3D, right? But at the same time, they're also flat. The yellow ones was when he started to get really 3D. These ones, the orange and yellow ones. So you can see a lot of 3D in here, okay? Especially this one. This one's 3D too. This one, this one, this one, this one. This one's not 3D, this one's flat. But especially this one. So you can see the degree of difficulty changing in his work. Some of you said that you thought the purple ones were a little more difficult. And let me just go into making sure you are answering things clearly, okay? I'm not going to bring up any names, but for one person wrote, which one do you feel will be the hardest to mimic or copy and why? Someone wrote the purple one. All right, so the purple one, well, there are 5 different purple ones. So which one are you talking about, okay? So let's try to be a little bit more descriptive in our answers if we can. And that will benefit you in other fields as well, being descriptive in your answers. Social studies, English, even math, you have to describe your answer too. So working on that cannot hurt at all. So make sure you're being nice and descriptive when you're answering questions I want you to answer. Me personally, and some of you wrote this as well, I would say the orange and yellow ones are the most difficult to copy. Believe it or not, something like this isn't very difficult. This is known as 2-point perspective. Okay, so you put a dot, you make a line here, you put a dot here, and then from the top of the line and the bottom of the line, you just draw a line to the dots on the right side, and you draw a line to the dots on the left side, and then you could create these inner shapes. This would not be that difficult at all, and I am very certain all of you in the class would be able to do something like this. That's not what we're going to do for this project. I wanted to do what that picture I posted before, but I have more than enough confidence that you'd all be able to do this, especially having had other 6th grade classes do certain things related to perspective. This is a little bit simpler, so I have full confidence that you'll be able to create this. Now these, on the other hand, I still think you'd be able to create if we were in class and I could be a little more hands-on and it's not just instruction through video. But I do think these are a little bit more difficult. You know, that is why we're definitely going to stay away from these, because I'd rather be in person and be able to help you like that if we were to do something like this. But as far as which one's the hardest, in my personal opinion, I'd say the yellow or orange. If you said otherwise, you know, that's your opinion. You know, I was asking for your opinion, so there's really no right or wrong answers in these, as I said in the beginning. All right, so this is what we're going to be looking at. This is what we're going to be basing our sketches off of, okay? Very important that you constantly refer back to this. I'll try to post another image of this in the next assignment. That way you have access to it there and you don't have to go back into the worksheet. Based on the image above, what is different? Well, clearly, it's not necessarily as 3D, but it's much more interactive and interweaving, and there's more connection between all of the shapes. You know, there's ins and outs, swirls, going on top, going under, and the going on top and going under is the thing that's going to be very, very important to understand moving forward. And when I do a demo showing you how to draw this over and under, it's very important that you watch that demo, and if you're still confused, watch it again, send me questions, because this over and under effect, you see how this blue line right here goes under this blue line, goes over this yellow line, then goes under this yellow line, and then goes over the blue line going this way. And this is not nearly as hard to create as some of you may think. So I'm very excited to get started with those sketches. For the goal for this week is to really just nail down that over and under effect. I may have you do a simple assignment just practicing that over and under, and not create the sketches now that I'm thinking about it, because I really want to stress this over and under effect, because if you can't get this down, completing the project is going to be very difficult. I know all of you will be able to get this down, but I'm thinking about just breaking it up an extra step just to make sure everyone's on the same page. But you know, we're going to be constantly referring back to this piece for our project. And notice that although there are other colors, you know, there's yellow, red, green, blue, however, in each kind of tube, there is a analogous color scheme, okay? Analogous color scheme, where it goes from orange to yellow. Those are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, orange and yellow. But then it does the other type of analogous color scheme where it uses those tertiary colors, right? Where it stays the same shade, the same color, but different shades. So right now we have an analogous color scheme where it changes color, orange to yellow. And then in the blue ones, we have dark blue to light blue. Both analogous color schemes. So that's the trickiest part about analogous colors, is that they can be two different colors or the same color, different shades. So the red one is analogous color, same color, different shades. Really dark red, that rich, almost like burgundy, to kind of your light, normal red. The green, same thing. The only one that has different color, analogous color, is that yellow to orange. Okay, but they are all analogous color schemes in every tube, if you will. If you have questions about that, please let me know. I think I'm going to have you define analogous colors in your own words for the next assignment, just so I know we're all on the same page. In the fun part right here, I'm going to bring up some of the ones that you found most interesting. And again, you were supposed to go to this link and choose one. It was kind of clear to me some of you may not have done that. And again, just as far as being descriptive, you know, it's if you answered the red one, well, there's a lot of red ones. Let's try to be a little more descriptive with that. Art is about creating it, but it's just as much about being able to talk about it as well. So, you know, think about that if I ever ask a question like this again. So moving forward to his work, a couple of you said that you like the Hershey's Olympics, and I agree with you. This is very interesting, using all those kind of Olympic multicolor feel. You have the sense of movement throughout all of these pieces just by the movement within the body and the overall thing that figure is doing, right? It's just naturally going to have a lot of movement. And then you get to see him painting right here, which is a very cool thing too. So for those of you that didn't watch it, it's a giant canvas right there. And you can see him he's holding a paintbrush, and it's very, very quick. But this piece right here, he sticks it on a place that doesn't have paint or dry paint. That way his hand isn't touching the canvas. Okay, because you don't want your hand to smudge the canvas, or the natural oils get on the canvas and then it messes up the texture of the canvas, and it's different when you apply paint on it. So you will see a lot of people that do these types of painting, especially people that do lettering. They use this to balance their hand and to also keep their hand off of the canvas. So I just wanted to point that out because I thought that was really cool. Let's see what the next one is. Someone said they like this, and this person, I forgot who said it, but it was very descriptive. Said, fourth row, first one on the left, boom, found it right away. And this has a lot going on with it, and I love the colors. And it's funny, looking at this and me saying that I love all the colors, I'm like, well, wouldn't it be cool to have a sweatshirt like this or something? And let's see which. Yes, this was the one. Look at all the things he's made. You know, I was thinking of that, and there has skis that he's done, dartboards. I actually just purchased a dartboard, and now this has kind of inspired me to paint something on top of my dartboard and make it a little more interesting. But it's just, you know, I'm geeking out right now because I would love to own something. Look, creating like the mountain effect for the snowboards. I mean, really, really versatile with all these things that he can put his designs on, and has put his designs on a guitar. So I think that was very cool. And this one, of course, that has a lot of different type of 3D effects, you know, spiral effects right here. They had where the stair effects right here. So there's a lot going on in it, and you can tell he's a master at kind of perspective. Someone said they liked the watch. I just wanted to point out that he did not make the watch. He made the design inside of the watch. Okay, so he created how the big hand and little hand were going to look, and what design was going inside of that watch. So you see all of these kind of designs right here. You see that in the leather, right? This is the design he made, and then he sent it to someone to imprint it into the leather. And then you could see the other designs inside of the watch. So even more versatile what he's able to do, right? He takes his beautiful paintings and then he applies it to the real world through putting his designs into clothing, into watches, into snowboards. You know, he did thing for Brisk Iced Tea, and advertising for that. So there's so many different ways that artists can create work, you know, and artists are great entrepreneurs where they're not just selling paintings anymore, they're selling their designs. You know, if someone likes their painting and they're like, well, how can I make this painting into kind of make its way into like the business world? And that's he does a great job of that, you know, partnering up with this watch company. So he does a great job of marketing himself for sure. You know, you can see all of this great work that he does. What's that? This last one? Oh, this is one of my favorites that I wanted to share with you. He takes his paintings and completely transforms them into a 3D space, right? So imagine walking into school and having something so colorful, and just like there's just something about it that just, if I was to walk past it, it would just make me smile. All of the colors, all the movement it's got going on, and it has a lot of energy. And to put that in the main lobby of a building, I think would be a good idea, because everyone walking in, they see that, and then they get that sense of energy, and they're ready for a nice productive day. You know, you can see him working on it outside too, setting it up. So like I said, there will be a video posted either later tonight or tomorrow about how we're going to start attacking this first project, what we're going to actually be doing. Well, we know what we're going to be doing, but how we're going to be creating it. Again, we will be looking at, go back here, we'll be looking at this piece right here, diving into it more, and we're going to really stress and hopefully understand that over and under, looping in and out effect. All right, so I look forward to getting started on this, everybody, and hope you do as well. You are as well.